All right, rock and roll. So I've got, let's see, I've got a list of questions that we've been getting quite a bit that I was going to cover. Before I launch into those, does anyone have any specific questions that we want to dive into before I get to those?
Would you rather us do it now or after yours?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. That way, I want to make sure to get your questions answered first.
Yeah. So we just launched about a week ago with Mission Community, and we have been overwhelmed with the response. This past week, we had 6 first-time guests, and from those first-time guests, most of them came and sat in on Growth Track and had lunch with us. So that was awesome.
Let's go.
So yeah, just the amount of need that has been responded to, like people's situations, has just been overwhelming to us, but it's been amazing to see them respond to getting prayed for, and it's just been awesome. So one of the things that we have noticed is if someone replies to the actual ad and doesn't go through the send prayer request, and they are just commenting, our pastor he's been commenting and messaging them and still praying for them through the back end system, but it also doesn't keep them in the loop of the ManyChat and all the automatic replies. Yeah. So we are wondering, is there any type of link or anything that we can send them that if they click on it, it gets them back into that system so they can get like the reminders on Saturday, they can get back into the system, the automatic messages? Yeah,
so and that's a great question, Olivia. So we get this a lot. There is, and you guys are doing it right. The best way. So here's kind of the good and bad of the comments, right? A lot of people are going to end up doing this. It's funny. No matter how many times we say, "Hey, click on the learn more button," or click on the send message button. Excuse me. People still leave comments, right? Yeah. It's just funny, but it's actually a good thing because Facebook's algorithm, the way that it works, is they're looking for engagement on your ad, right? Not just people taking action, but engagement. So every time someone likes, comments, shares, that helps you, right? It basically tells, so the more comments you get, the more Facebook says, hey, people really like this ad, so let's show it to more people for less money, right? So that's a great thing, right? The only bummer is that now they're not actually in the chatbot flow itself, in ManyChat. So there is like a ref link that you could grab from ManyChat to send them. The only problem is that it would basically start them over again, right? Okay. So like if they clicked on it, it would go and say, okay, hey, this is Pastor Chris, send me your prayer request, right? So like it would take them back to the beginning of the flow. But I'm intrigued by your question because it makes me think, like, I wonder, I've never thought about building something like that, but there might be something. Let me talk with our tech team, and I'll talk to Travis, my business partner. He's like a chatbot genius, and I'll check with him because there may be something that we could set up that would subscribe them to ManyChat and subscribe them to the messenger list, but not take them back to the beginning of the flow. We probably have to custom build something, but okay. Let me take a look, because then if that's the case, we can just roll it out for everybody. And then that way it's like, hey, click on this link. We have to figure out the tricky part is basically getting them to figure out why to click on the link, right? So like, hey, click on this link to get an invite to our church. Some people might click on it, right? But just figuring out what that looks like. So I'll talk to him and talk it over with our tech guy too, and just kind of see.
Yeah, I didn't know. We have people who are saying in that situation, who are saying, yeah, we'll show up, but I didn't know, because we're not sending them extra things like, hey, send me your email address, because it's like our pastor, Jordan's already talking with them, and right. So he didn't want to like make it seem impersonal and be like, hey, give me your email address, give me your phone number, and we can get you into the system, because he's already had that conversation back and forth with them. So he's just trying to figure out, is there a way to get them into that, or do we have to automatically send those reminders on Saturday, that type of thing?
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll take a look. There might be a way to just have like a plan your visit link, right? People are like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, okay, cool. Click on this link and we'll actually, click on this link to plan your visit, or click on this link and we'll send you a reminder text on Saturday or something like that. And then that would get them over there and kind of get them into. Okay. It'd have to be a separate flow, but yeah, I'll look through that, see how we can do that.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else before I dive into some of the questions I have here?
Will, was that a hand being raised or turning off your camera?
I think he was just turning off his camera here. All right, so let's dive in. So these are some of the ones you guys probably have some of these questions as well, because these are the ones we get over and over again all the time. The first one is that we get a lot of questions when you log into ManyChat. There's like a pink message, right, that says like urgent. All of your messages are in danger of not being delivered after March 4th, right? So if you guys are seeing that, listen, don't freak out. Like we've got a handle on it. That's basically for people that are using this to like there's businesses that use ManyChat to get people subscribed, and then they just spam them over and over and over, trying to get them to buy stuff, right? So since all of our messages are non-promotional in nature, right? Like we're doing prayer requests, we're helping people, we're inviting them to church. Like it's non-promotional. We're not trying to scam them or spam them or take their money or anything like that. Right? Like you may be in trouble if you start hitting up your list and trying to get them to give to your church and trying to get their money, then you may have a problem. But as long as you're just doing prayer requests, everything's ministry related, you're going to be fine. ManyChat's just going through some changes. It's actually Facebook that's going through the changes. They're just they're trying to cut down on the amount of businesses that are being spammy, and that's why they're kind of doing that. So you have to tag the messages a certain way if it's going to be for if you're asking for money or trying to sell something. So everything's good. And here's the deal is even when you go in and change things in your account, like even if we had a business account and we were trying to sell stuff, and you go to change it, they still make that message repopulate every single day. So you're going to see it every single day from now until March 4th. Who knows? They've already pushed that back a couple of times. They may push it back again. But that change is coming March 4th. Don't worry about it. We're good. It doesn't affect us because we're not selling stuff. All right, so let's see. The next question we've been getting a lot is, like if we're getting prayer requests from far away, right? Prayer requests for planner visits, but they don't live in our city or they live out of state. So we've talked about this before, but for those of you guys who are new, just so you know, so this is actually a good thing. What this means, it doesn't mean that the ad is being shown to people 2 hours away or anything like that. It doesn't mean that the targeting is off. Basically what happens is this is an indication that if your message is resonating with people inside of your community. Because what happens is there are people who see your ad and go, wow, that is so cool. I can't believe like this pastor's just praying for people. What they do is they share that on their personal Facebook page, right? So when your message resonates, they're going to start sharing that with their city, or excuse me, sharing that on their personal Facebook page, which means it doesn't just go to their city. It also goes out to everyone that they're friends with, right? So that's it's a great problem to have, but sometimes those people live in the city. Sometimes they live super far away, right? So like if I go in and I see somebody here in Tulsa that has shared that Facebook page says, hey, how can I pray for you? I'm like, oh man, I'm good right now, but I want to share that so my friends see it. And I share it on my personal profile. I might have friends in Texas or Arkansas or back home in Maryland where I grew up, or in Arizona where my family lives, right? Who may see that, respond to it. And then all of a sudden people are like, wait a second, why is the ad being shown in Arizona? Well, it's not. Because I live in Tulsa and I'm in the ad zone, I shared it on my personal profile and all the people I'm friends with saw it. So that kind of makes sense. So if you see that, like, don't worry, don't freak out. It's just because people are sharing it. And if you go in and look, you can probably see how many shares you got. And it's just because people love that ad so much and they're so impressed that you'd be doing that they share it with their friends. So what we normally do is just treat them just like you would anyone that lives within driving distance to your church. And that they say, hey, actually, we're 2 hours away, or we're out of state. Just say, oh, okay, no problem. Well, here's the link to our live stream in case you want to check us out on Sunday morning, right? We live stream every single Sunday at 11 o'clock Central. That way, they still have a chance to kind of interact with you and check you out. But yeah, if that's happening, people are coming from outside the city, don't worry. It's just because people are sharing it. Let's see. Any questions about that before I move on to the next one here? All right, and Eric, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping on here, bro. So, guys, Eric Mendoza, man, we just hired him and brought him on board. He's a pastor in Southern California, and he's going to be helping out with a lot of kind of customer support and kind of jumping on phone calls when you guys have questions, email support, that kind of stuff. Because we've been growing so fast and pedaling so hard. You guys have probably seen when you send us an email, it takes us a little while to get back, and we've been hustling trying to keep up. So now Eric is actually coming on board to kind of help with that stuff. Eric, do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and about your church and kind of what you've been doing?
Yeah, hey everybody. So my name's Eric. Like I said, I'm jumping on, so I'm new to a lot of this, but I am a associate slash youth pastor slash children's pastor, basically the jack of all trades. And I'm in a small, I would say small church, but we have about 250 to 350 people that regularly attend on Sunday mornings. And I'm just looking forward to helping in any way, shape, or form. I love ministry. I love people, and I love just making those connections and using technology to our advantage just to be able to share his word and his kingdom a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to just being able to come alongside you and help you in any way that I can. So thanks for bringing me on board. Thanks, Chris. I don't know if you want to know anything else about me, but that's just a quick
great,
introduction.
Man. Eric's a freaking baller. That's why we hired him. We talked to a bunch of different people. We talked to Eric, like we got off the video chat. Eric, I haven't even told you this yet, but Travis and I looked and we were like, yeah, that's the guy right there. So Eric's a stud. It's why we brought him on board. We're pumped to have him. Because really what we're doing is we're just trying to hire great people that are going to be able to help, right? Like one of the things we talked about, we were at a conference all last week in Nashville, digital marketing conference. And, you know, and we've been talking about this and I told a couple churches this yesterday, right? Like we're actually not here for you, right? Like you guys are the pastors. Like we love partnering with pastors. We love partnering with churches. We're actually not here for you. We're here for the people in your city that you're going to reach, right? That's why we do this. We have a heart to reach as many people as humanly possible. And we feel like we have a message that we need to get out to the world. We can't do that without partners in the local church. So that's why we need you guys to be on there. Like I was talking to a church near my hometown in Maryland yesterday who's planning a church, right? And I'm like, man, I've got a heart for that city, but I can't reach my hometown without his help. Right. And that's what, like, ultimately the reason we're doing this is for the people in your city, the people that you're going to reach, right? The people who are on the brink of suicide, the people whose marriages are falling apart and are about to get a divorce, like the people whose families are breaking up and crazy and they don't know how to parent their kids and all kinds of things that they're going through right now and stress that they're going through. Like, man, that's who we're doing this for. So that's why we need your guys' help to kind of partner with you guys. That's what we're trying to do is we're trying to reach those people. And that's kind of why we do what we do. We're pretty pumped. And that's why we're looking for people to help. And when we met Eric and could just hear his heart for ministry, as I think you guys probably just did, it's like, dude, let's go. Like this is the kind of people that we need. We just need great people kind of helping to get this message out, right? Like it's incredible the amount of stories that we have coming in over and over and over. We had a guy just on Facebook the other day said, man, in the last year, we'd only gotten saved and baptized 3 people. And we ran, they came on board, started doing Facebook ministry ads. And in 3 months, they got saved and baptized 20 people, right? So like infinitely more, and still reaching people. And that number is going to keep going than they did all year long before that, just because they're able to use this system to be able to get in front of more people and help people. And really that's why we do it. So, all right, let me dive back into a couple more questions here that we've been getting a lot. A couple people have asked if they can add other users to your ManyChat account. So the answer to that is yes. Now, if you guys are on here and we're currently building out your Facebook ad system, then once it's ready, once it goes live, we will send over the link to you, and you'll get a link where you can make yourself an admin. And so don't worry about that if you're not an admin yet. It's just probably just because your ads haven't started. As soon as they do start, then we can send over that link. You can make yourself an admin. Once you are an admin, if you're running right now and you're already an admin inside of ManyChat, all you have to do is go in there, go to settings and go into users. And you can literally from there, you can just generate a new link to make someone an admin. And then you can just send that to however many people you want to. So if you've been doing this for a little while and you're starting to build a prayer team to help with all the prayer ads, right? Because as anyone, Will can attest to this. I know anyone that's been doing this for a while, all of a sudden, like, man, all these prayer requests start coming in and it's awesome at first. And then eventually you're like, okay, I'm going to need some help with all this ministry going on, right? All these prayer requests. So building out a prayer team is a really, really good idea. Once you've been running this for a couple of weeks and you kind of get the hang of the flow and how it's working. And that's the best way to do it is just go in there under users and just generate new admin links. And then you can send that to anyone on your team that you want to start helping you. Super easy. But yeah, so that's the best way to do it. So you can add as many people as you want to your ManyChat account. And that's the best way to do it. Let's see. Okay, we've had a couple people asking about questions specifically on, look at my list here. Oh yeah, like what happens if people in the church are seeing the ad, right? So that's actually not a problem. That's awesome. If people see from your church the ad, one of those things it's going to do, right, is it's going to take like there's some pride involved when you see your church doing awesome stuff, right? Like you see your church on Facebook and Instagram, like running ads, doing ministry, doing this prayer thing. Like people get pumped when they see that, right? And here's the deal: is if some of those people in your church are responding to the prayer request, that's not a problem. That's awesome, right? Those are people that are going through some stuff that needed prayer that wouldn't have reached out had they not seen the ad, right? Like we hope that they will. I know, like at our church, like man, we make all of our elders available every single Sunday, right? We say, hey, if you guys need anything at all, come up to the altar for prayer. We've got all of our elders who are going to flank the stage, and we can pray for you. But not that many people come up every week, right? We want to make it available. But then some of those same people who don't come up in person on Sunday will then see an ad and then respond and submit their prayer request, right? There's something that's a little bit more private. It's just a little bit more intimate. And so a lot of people would rather do that. So that's awesome. Don't worry if people in your church are seeing it. And then there's, some people say, well, if they're in our church and they submit their prayer request, can we stop the auto sequences that come in and invite them to church? No, you can't, but that's not a problem either, right? Like if that happens, like we just jump in and say, whoops, sorry about that. It's actually an auto invite, right? And then people are like, yeah, no problem. I figured it's really like, it's not gonna, there's nothing to be nervous about or anything like that. If your people in your church see it, they're just gonna think it's awesome that you're reaching more people. They're not gonna be offended that they automatically got invited to church. It's a good thing. So, and then finally, last question I had that I wanted to make sure to address is, some people have been asking which platform to reply in, right? So there's basically 3 different ways that you can reply. It's either in ManyChat, in the Facebook page app, or in Messenger. I personally prefer the Facebook page app, right? Because that way, let's see, I think I got my phone here. Because I've had questions on this. Let me show you guys what it actually looks like. All right, so the Facebook page app is this one right there. Okay, so that Facebook page app is what it looks like. And when you open it up, it actually has like some different inboxes. Mine's still loading, but it's got some different inboxes so you can check out like Facebook and Instagram and see what everything that's happening. So let me just click on a church here. Boom. Okay. So you'll open it up, right? And you have, actually this church, we're still building out their ads. All right. Well, anyway, so, yeah, like you'll actually see, like you can come in here and you see all the people, and you can literally, it's got the little messenger symbol. So you can literally from there, just click on each one and reply to them. And it's super easy to send the audio prayer through that Facebook page app. So you can do it any way you want to, but I think that's the easiest way. And that way you make sure you're actually responding from your church Facebook page instead of your personal account. So if you're looking for the best way, personally, I like the Facebook page app. It makes it super easy. And then if your church has multiple pages, or if you're an admin on multiple pages for some reason, it's really easy to jump in between them. So, all right, we've got a couple of minutes left. Do we have, I know we've kind of covered a lot of ground. Do we have any more questions specifically about what's going on? You can either ask it out loud or you can throw it in the chat here.
I was just going to say, Chris, the other benefit of that Facebook page is that you can, you have different folders. So you can put it into the done folder if you really quickly need to identify just people you need to reply to that are you haven't already engaged with, like there's a folder even for unread. And then you can also put a star next to the ones that you need to do follow up with. So it's just a great way to sort. I've definitely found it better than the Facebook page one, or the one through Messenger itself.
Yeah. Love it, man. That's a great point. And Will, you're a vet at this point. You've been crushing it for what, about 4 months now?
Yeah. Okay, and awesome. So we're still doing well. It's been going well. We're still averaging about 7 first-time guests every week. We've ran into some space issues. We added a separate space for kids, but then we got some pushback. The enemy kind of, is trying to put resistance up.
7
just
first-time
about
guests each week?
averaging every week.
Wow.
Pretty much. I mean, we've had some that are 1 or 2 or 3, but then our best was 13, and then we had another one that was 11, and so we've been looking for other space because our space is very small, and we added a children 2 doors down. It's like not a strip mall; it's actually a renovated lumber yard. It's kind of interesting. They've made it like a kind of like those. I don't know how to explain. It's kind of like a Starbucks on steroids. It's kind of nice, modern feel. But we added a kid space and then got into hassle about it because we use Peer Space. I don't know if you've heard of that, but we rent every week. And so now we're just trying to figure out. Our plan now is we're in a 3-month lease. We want to do our first broadcast for Easter and launch a new building. So that's the plan. I think we have 2,300 now in the ready to do a broadcast, but we didn't want to do a broadcast. We don't want a crowd to show. We can't handle it in our current space, so we're waiting for Easter. Everything's built up for Easter now.
I think Russ is asking you, how many people do you have responding to prayer requests?
And we've cut it. We actually cut our ad rate down just for budgetary reasons, and we're still running at least probably 15 a day. Yeah, 15 plus a day. We were doing a full ad of $30 a day, and I got up to like 30 plus prayers a day sometimes.
Do you have people helping you respond?
The subscriber rate has gone up really well. Not yet. I'm still doing all the prayers. So yeah, I've done 2,300 prayers myself. I calculated at one time it was like 130 hours of prayers, something like that. Yeah.
Punching holes in the darkness.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pastor, just good, man. I just want to take a minute and tell you, well done. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Thanks.
Will, how many?
It's actually, I mean, it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding too. Yeah.
How many are you guys typically running on an average Sunday?
We're still not running huge numbers. It's we're still like anywhere between 35 and 45, but we're in a core team phase for a long time of about 15 to 20. So we kind of just pressed the pause button, but ever since that's about double in attendance since we've started this. But again, our space limitations, we can't fit more than 55 adults in the room that we're in. And so but the minute we added a children's space, we went from 5 to like 13 the day we put a larger space for the kids. So I know we need a bigger space and he'll fill it. It's just a matter of timing.
I love it. Think about it. When you first came to us, like you were trying to figure out how to get the word out, how to grow right from that core team 15 to 20. Right now, your biggest problem, besides averaging 7 new guests every single Sunday, you're afraid to invite people to church through your broadcast because too many people will show up, and your biggest problem is space right now. Those are great problems to have, bro. Right? Don't get me wrong. Like, it's obstacles that we're gonna figure out, but those are great problems to have, man.
Yeah. Now the other problem is, and it's a real problem. It's because of the some of the resource issues and stuff like that. Quality of experience with good systems, like Olivia mentioned, the growth track. We have not started our membership process. Our Connect follow-up is pretty good. I mean, we do thank you cards, we do email follow-up and all that. But I'd still like to see our retention rate better. Obviously, we're averaging 7 guests, first-time guests for 4 months. We should be blowing up by now, but we're facing a hang up there, and I just feel like eventually it'll get cleared up as we get more excellence in our ministry efforts and better system improvement.
Yeah. Hey, so let me do this, Will. We may be able to help with some of that stuff moving forward, but for now, let me just see if I can find a link. I actually hired the girl from Guts who oversaw all of our assimilation and guest program for several years, and I paid her to create a course called Assimilation Secrets.
Okay.
Let me see if I can just find that and just send it to you. Just might at least give you a jumping off point to kind of go through that and take a look.
Yeah, actually, we have been looking at what we want to do for our membership. I know Growth Track is one out of what's that church out in Alabama? Big one.
Oh,
Highlands.
Yeah, that's where. Did
Yeah.
you use their some of their stuff
Yeah,
for the growth track?
We're an ARC church, so we're connected with
Okay,
them.
gotcha. Okay,
All right. So Will, I just put that link in the chat. You click on that.
Okay.
It's kind of a backdoor link. We have it in one of our programs, but I put it on there just so you can have
Okay.
that. It's kind of, again, it's how we've done things, right? But that was one of the things Katie had to like basically come in and redo the entire deal. And because, we run whatever it is, 5,000-6,000 people, it took a while to kind of figure out, all right, what's the best way to get people through there. So there's like an assimilation map of kind of how we do things, stuff like that. Again, take what works, right, and spit out the rest. But that might give you a good jumping off point.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see. We probably got time for one more question. If anyone
Can I go a day?
Yeah, a day. What's up, man? How can we help?
Well, first I want to also testify that after actually about 4 or 5 years of the church being there, we never had a member addition. It was always the same family. At first we hadn't planned for really well, I would say, for planning your visit in terms of transportation, because people would say, I want to come, but we don't have transportation. So one of the things the preacher's wife did was just set up a planned visit for someone who didn't have a transportation, and we made it happen. We went to go pick her up, and she came, and she plans on coming back with her son. And I realized our first week, we let a lot of people that didn't have transportation that wanted to come go. So we are trying to find a way to do that. Our sister church, the bigger church, has the van, so we want to work on that. But my question was, so thank you. We've had one person who has come and willing to stay after 4 or 5 years. So we're going to keep going at it.
Wow.
The one question I had was that, is there a way to have the bot of invitation of them coming to the church to be prayed for in person go after a prayer, or it cannot be done? Because sometimes when it seems very automated, when you ask them to bring their prayer request, and then as soon as they do it, you are inviting them to come. So I was just wondering, is there a way to have the bot go after the prayer?
You mean like after you send the audio prayer?
Yeah, then the bot for invitation starts that process.
So no, unfortunately not, because it needs some like everything's automated, so it has to go. It's basically like according to time how much it sends after. What we found though is it's actually better to do everything through the automated sequence first. Then once you send the audio prayer, to actually just end that audio prayer with, like, oh, we just want to pray for you, right? Right? In Jesus' name, amen. Man, John, listen, we're actually having service this Sunday at 10 a.m. Can you make it? Right? And then end the audio prayer that way. So now they feel like they need to respond. And if they say yes, they may not have planned to visit through the automated sequence, but now they just promised a pastor that they're coming to church on Sunday. And it's just another micro commitment, right? Another step towards Christ. So it's actually good to have an invite first and then send the audio prayer so that you can invite them to church through the audio prayer and just ask them. I always end all of mine whenever I've done it. I just end it with that question, like, hey man, we've got church this Sunday at 10 o'clock. Can you make it? Right. And then that way it just kind of gets that conversation going again.
Okay. Is there a way to decrease the radius of the miles?
So that's something we talked about earlier. More than likely what's happening is if you have people from outside of driving distance of your church, it's because it's resonating with so many people inside of that radius that they're actually sharing it on their personal Facebook pages. So all of their friends are seeing it. And some of those people are obviously going to live outside of the city. They're going to live outside of out of state. So if you're getting people from a while out, that's the reason. It's not that the ad is showing up to too many people. It's that it's working so well and resonating with so many people that they're actually sharing it. And so you're reaching some of those people.
Yeah,
so,
I think you spoke about that last time. And then one final question, please.
Sure.
Is there a way to activate the system? Well, first of all, what I realized when we were first testing it our first week, I realized that the system didn't go all the way through. And then when I checked many chats in the back, it tells me when the next bot will go. And sometimes it's like, let's say the 25th of January, it tells me that the next bot like will go in like the 28th or something. It doesn't follow all the way through. I don't know if that's it's like a problem for others or something.
No, so if I fully understand your question, the reason you're seeing that is because there are multiple follow-ups built into the system. So when the first sequence goes through, sequence, right? Like if they submit a prayer request on Tuesday, then on Saturday it's going to follow up with them if they didn't plan a visit, and just going to say,
no, not that. That what you expect to follow through right away. For example, when it asks them that, what is your prayer request, and then when they say they put their prayer request, the next thing that is supposed to go in doesn't. It tells them that I in many chats, or I took pictures, it will say that the next response is going to be like on this day at this time, and that will be like several days after the
okay, so I think you're talking about two different things. So the reason you're probably seeing that and you're wondering, hey, why didn't the sequence fire? So we've talked about this before. It's because at the beginning, like Facebook says that they have to click a button in order to subscribe to your Messenger list. So when they first opened up Messenger and it pulls in your name, says like, hey, John, click on the send prayer request button. If they don't click on that button, then they won't be subscribed and they won't kick off. So they have to, like some people won't click on that because they're just not following directions or didn't read it, and they type in their prayer request. So they become subscribed and they're still going to get one of the future invites, but it's not going to kick off the prayer messaging bot because they didn't click on that button. Right. And there's really nothing we can do about it. That's just something that Facebook.
And we can't start the bot in the middle of it for something like that, like where we put something in and it starts it over. No.
Right. Unfortunately not. You just have to do it manually. Right. It's just kind of one of the things. That's what we do is you just respond to it, kind of do it manually, but then they're still going to get like the Saturday invite later on. So that's why you're seeing the next bot getting ready to come.
All right. That'll be all my question. Thank you very much. I mean, for a church of less than 10 that for 4 years we've been struggling to have one person come in, we were actually scared. Like, how do we receive them? What do we do? Like, and so yesterday we asked them, hey, how was church? And it's like, oh, I loved it. I loved the music. Meanwhile, it's not like we have an entertainment group or something. It's just a musician and an organ, and they're like, they want to come back. They can't wait to be picked up. So that we really liked it, and we're going to keep going at it. Is there a certain day of the week that you suggest the bot go out? Is there any better time that increases chances of people responding or anything like that, or we just keep it open?
Yeah, I would just keep it wide open.
All right.
All right, awesome. Well, Ade, you're crushing it, man. Keep going, bro. I love it. Looking forward to hearing some more great testimonies. The rest of you guys, we're planning on doing this again next Wednesday. So do me a favor. One of the things we love to share is if you guys have stories that are happening, right? Like stories of like, hey, we just had 20 guests come, or we just had 2 guests come, but we haven't had a guest in months, right? Or if it's even like, hey, we prayed with someone, and God restored their marriage, or they were talked off the brink of suicide, whatever it is. Write those stories down so you can share them on the next coaching call, because, it helps us and reminds us why we're doing this, and then it helps the other churches that are still going and kind of pushing through. So
we actually have a group chat where when we get a praise report, that if we screenshot it, it goes out to everybody. And it makes our day sometimes, right, Chris? I mean, it's like the thing that lifts us up. So please, you're blessing us by sharing those things.
Yes, share them in here, send them to us, email them to us, whatever you want to do, but please share the good stuff, because
please, it's why we do what we do.
It's why we do it.
We will.
All right, appreciate you guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.